Mario. Welcome.
And we're going to kind of pick back up where we left off in a previous episode, going through this master plan here. Do you want to kind of just give us an overview of where we're at and what we're going to work on right now?
Well, where we picked up from last time is, and now since we're doing this, now we certainly have to release the last one.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Dare we not do this?
No, we're going to have to, because we don't have any other content to talk about for an hour unless we dive into just other things. So we'll just talk about this.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're still building up our content repo anyway. So if we really want to push the release date back like a week or so, we can. We haven't publicly committed to anything.
Sure. So where we left off, and I'll take it from there. We took it from essentially making a document that would encompass a process of how to process a client for an agency. So any sort of creative services, what the steps would be, what steps are involved in processing a client, figuring out what they're dealing with, what they need, what they're trying to accomplish through hiring you, and what services and how to structure the services that you offer, from figuring out what you need to do to strategizing on how to do it properly to accomplish what their goals are. And so where we're picking up from last time, we went through the pre-client diagnosis, which is the process of meeting with the client first and figuring out, doing a first round of research to figure out what they need, and just doing preliminary research and submitting a proposal. So we took it pretty much all the way up until the proposal, and then ended at the beginning of the post-client win. Say all things go well, the client approves of the proposal, and now you're working and you're doing a deeper dive diagnosis and figuring out and really laying out the work that you're going to be doing over whatever the period of time is you're hired for.
Yeah. So do we want to, we should pick which industry, I guess, or
are we done?
Service, I should say.
Are we done here? Are we done with, we have, to recap it. Let me just recap really quick. The pre-client and then take the post-client. The pre-client covers diagnosis, which is, tell me about your business. What type of business? What are you hoping to accomplish? How do you define success? Where are you now compared to where you want to be? What are some of your pain points? What are your strengths? What are you doing currently? Pretty much same questions again. Then the first round of research to the proposal being submitted. And then now we're on the post-client win, which so far we have expounding upon the answers found in the initial diagnosis, which we will call ID. Methods of exploring those answers deeply. Analyzing all their communication channels for quality, effectiveness, innovation, and consistency. And we determined that each service that we provide is going to need to be measured against the same core concepts and answer the same questions. So now, at this point, each service is going to branch out and answer every deep diving question as the next one. Each service should be structured similarly. Obviously, have some variables depending on the processes involved. But we're trying to structure that. What is the structure that we're going to use in every case? So if it's web design, if it's video production, photography, if it's whatever, figuring out what that process is.
Yeah. And I mean, we talked about creating a mind map, and I think that's something that we're definitely going to have to jump into soon, but not right away. Let's continue work on this on paper for now. I think the best move here is to just go service by service. So go through cinematography, photography, graphic design, web development, web design, whatever. And kind of just at a very high level, paint out what the process is. And then don't get into too much detail right now, because I feel like if we take this high level idea and put that into Coggle where we can turn it into a mind map, we're actually going to be able to very easily go through each process and based off of certain questions say, okay, well, we're asking this or we're looking for this. There's 2 ways this, or maybe there's 3 ways this could go. So I think it would be much easier to save that more intricate level of detail, to push it off later until we actually get into that mind map. Do you agree?
I agree. I mean, the thing is that each process can get so intricate within itself that the point of this document is really to essentially a direction. The direction. I know for me, the purpose of it would be I want to duplicate myself. And there's too many malfunctions in cloning at the moment. So the only thing I can do is have a document that can replicate my process, and pretty much a tool for quality consistency and being able to scale, be able to take on more clients, because it's not all up in my head. It's on paper, it's on record. And so we can, there's always something that you can, let's say you're midway through this process. I know it happens to me if I'm doing something, I may lose track if I'm bouncing between task to task. And it's nice to know that I've checked off all these different things on my checklist. So, with that being said, the video thing, like if we start with video production, for example, I think it's most important to answer the most basic questions. So first of all, do they need video production? Second of all, what do they need it for? Third of all, is it for one project, or do they want me to forecast what type of videos that they need? Distribution, scope of work, budget for scope of work, time frame of how long it's going to take each phase of production, how much coordination do you need to do with the company on the project, everything. I mean, storyboarding, getting your crew, getting your equipment, mapping out the dates, making sure everybody confirms for that, what tools to use when getting crews, and what websites you like to use for all, you know what I mean? Like, it can get very intricate.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, we can start with that and start with one and go from there.
I think it would be very good to just start with one, because I mean, some of the processes here, some of the questions and things that we're going to be looking for are going to be the same across these different services that we provide. So I think video production would probably be a good one to start out at, because it's not the easiest, but it's also not the most complicated. So it's just kind of in the middle of the road. So let's start there. And then to kind of just revisit a few of the things you pointed out. One question that I don't know if we'd really want to get into and ask, I mean, that might be more of like a, case by case basis, is asking them what their budget is, because I don't want to get into a situation where we're limiting ourselves. And some clients you can totally ask. Others, I think it's best to understand what their requirements are, what they want, and then just come back to them with like, this is what it's going to take to do what you want.
Most clients, and you can ask it up front, it's always what I find.
You want to do it in a roundabout way, though. You don't want to just straight up say, what's your budget?
Not in the beginning, but I mean, what I find is that it's always like a Western shootout whenever you get into money conversations with a client, because one side is waiting for the other side to speak first on what they're looking for. And so, the person who's selling the service, I find that the reason they ask the question is so that they know where to start, pretty much. Or if this person's even in their ballpark, you could, but usually, you typically, I would say like most of the time, which clients are going to be in the ballpark you want to be in. And then other times, like let's say you want to charge, you have a 2-minute commercial and you want to charge, it depends what the company is, but let's say you're going to charge 10 grand for it. Who's going to come up to you and be like, I can pay that. And also you have to have common sense. If it's a small business, it's not going to have the same part of their budget's just not going to extend to that amount for something that's not going to give them the benefit of that investment. So it has to be worth it for the scope of the company. It all depends who it is, but obviously you price your price is going to dictate who you attract at times.
I agree. I mean, I think with this whole round of diagnosis and, digging into the company and asking questions, it would be very easy to there's other methods of figuring out what their potential budget could be. Like if you're talking to them and they're coming to you because they want a video. Okay. Well, if you're talking about the video, I mean, you can always get into, okay, well, what benefit what do you expect to gain from this video? And a lot of times that can be, around money. Like we expect to increase our revenue, if you want to talk about that. And based on how much they expect that to increase revenue, that could also kind of give you an indicator about what their budget is or what they're looking to spend.
Yeah, let me preface this by being really real. We're professionals in this, but I mean, I took my company full time in February, so my experience is limited as far as when it comes to what's the word I'm looking for? Vetting all of these processes. I know it works for me. All of this has worked for me, but with each different client that comes along, you just gain something new. You learn something new. You figure out something new that works about it. So part of this, making this document, this master plan, whatever we call it, is to constantly test this against real world experience. Because I mean, we're not 20-year veterans in it, but this has worked so far, and we're not reinventing the wheel here. But
yeah, nor are we writing the Bible for this. I feel like this will be a forever changing document and process.
And hopefully we're right on some of these things, so that when we're 50 years old, we're noticing we're just changing little details, not big things. But as far as, I know we took a major tangent, asking the client what their budget is. You can do it. I've found every time I ask, most of the time, if it's depending on who it is, they won't literally tell you. They'll just be like, "Oh, just tell me what it's going to take." Yeah. They want to see who moves first. It's the game of chicken. And so, but in that game of chicken, you don't want to be the one who is thinking too much about what the client can do. You just do what's fair, what it's worth, and the rest sorts itself out. So, but yeah, you got to get that out in the open immediately. Like, I know we did the pre-client stuff and we said submit the proposal. Obviously, when you do the diagnosis, you're figuring out what they need. There's going to be another round of figuring out what the scope of work that they need is. So, like, let's say you do the research and you figure out, okay, they need a website. They definitely need some video content. And then you figure out from there, okay, what do they need on the website? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so that's going to be this. Okay, what do they need in the video? Okay, that's going to be this price. So the budget's going to be based on what they need. And then in other cases, when it comes to things like monthly management, that's where you can come in with like a retainer price of, what is your monthly service fee just to stay on staff and to be on call to work constantly.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously you need to paint out what that cost is actually going to cover, because it's not going to be, the full suite of people where you've got a cinematographer, editor, audio engineer all on hand at all times. It may be, I don't know. You might be able to have a couple people, but they may not need everyone.
So, Zach.
All right.
What is the first step in figuring out, you have a client, what do? You're planning for a video production. How are you assessing it, the situation?
I mean, if someone's coming to me and they want a video, I mean, my first question of them is going to be, what kind of video do you want? Honestly, I mean, are you looking for an advertisement? Are you looking for, just like a internal video? Actually, that's probably a good spot to start. Are you looking for something for internal use, or is this going to be, distributed publicly?
Yeah, it's probably the best question to start with. What is it for? Internal
or even who's the audience? I mean, that might be a more of a
what?
Just like a little note to put.
And who is it for?
There you go.
Okay.
You got that extra little H in there. What? I hate that.
The Jewish H. Is it Jewish? Is it Arab?
I have no idea. I had a English teacher once, and it's just like every word with an H in it, or with a H in it, it would always be what, who, when. I was just like, shut up.
I don't think that's cultural.
No.
Video production. All right. What and who is it for? What type of content do you want? Right? Or we determine the type of content that you want based on what and who it's for.
Well, I mean, I think what is it for? Who is it for? We'll probably be able to derive what type of video is going to work well for that. I think we would probably want to know, what the distribution is going to be. Is this going to be something that is going to be put on a website? Is this something that's going to be run as advertisements on a TV network? Let's
use common sense. Nowadays, online is almost certainly check, whatever.
I know what you mean.
Online is certainly, social media is a given. So how about this? It's almost certainly going to be online. If they're not online, then we should be fired for not telling them, you need to put this online. Because let's be real, nobody watches ads on TV like that anymore. I mean, as it is, it's hard enough to get somebody to watch 5 seconds on a YouTube ad.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, it just depends on what kind of client they are.
Okay,
so we'll say that's up to our judgment.
I mean, local pharmaceutical company, absolutely. You run it on daytime TV, and since we're in South Florida, you run it daytime TV in the elderly areas. Put it in Hialeah, you put it in Spanish, you put it in Aventura, you put it in English. Get the Spanish folks watching it. They'll buy it.
Yeah.
Type of distribution. So what type of distribution? We'll keep it there.
All right. So online, what is it? Who's it for?
Separate it. Online.
Okay.
The radio.
Well, radio wouldn't be video.
Yeah, but half the time I've heard commercials on radio that are actual, it's audio stripped from video. Geico does it.
That's true. Actually, now that I think about it, I have heard a few of them. I don't listen to the radio that much, man. Ever since I got Apple Music, actually, you know what? When I bought my car, my radio didn't work.
I canceled Apple Music.
Well, my speaker was blown, so I just pulled it out and didn't listen to radio for like 3 years.
But I'm a sports radio junkie.
Anyways,
I like talk radio. I don't listen to music radio. I listen to AM.
No, I mean
AM radio. I'm a true radio savant. No, not really. But there's pretty much 2 stations that I listen to down here, and it's Dan Le Batard is pretty much a given. If he's on, I'm listening to it. But that's about it. It's pretty much Dan Le Batard and Rush Limbaugh. That's about it. Nice. I'm going to alienate some portions of the audience with that one.
Probably.
I don't care. Anyways.
Yes. Okay. So we've covered what it is, who it's for, what type of distribution.
What type of... No, we already know what is it for. So, but what is it for? If it's training, then we know it's a training video. So pretty much number 1 parses what kind of content it is.
Yeah.
Content and who the audience is.
Exactly. I mean, one thing to keep in mind with video, it could be something that you need a cinematographer for, but it could just simply just be something you need an animation.
Well, yeah, you figure that out on the what and who, you figure all of that out in that question. That question is deeper than it looks. At least.
No, I know that there's definitely going to be a big spider there once we get to
my mind is already racing after 1. That's where the ideas start. The moment they say,
yeah,
it's a training video. Oh, it's a documentary. Oh, it's an interview. Oh, and your mind starts racing. It's an explainer video. Oh, and then the people start coming to mind. Oh, I should use him. I should use her. Whatever. What do you want to do? What do you want to communicate?
That's a good one.
Through this. You want to communicate. How about that?
Yeah, we know it's a video.
What result would you consider success? How do I phrase that question that I'm trying to get here? What is the barometer that we're measuring up against here? What is the effect that we need this video to have? What is the effect?
You could just keep it simple, or how do we define success? I mean, we've kind of already covered that in the pre-diagnosis or pre-client win.
Is that the same
piece?
Is that the same question?
It's basically the same question.
Hold on. Is that the same question as what is the purpose of this video?
No,
because sometimes it's
not.
To educate, to entertain, to inform. Well, educate is inform, but not necessarily. Educate could be a training process, or it could be a commercial to inform you that my company exists.
Yeah, I think what is the purpose of this video and what do you want to communicate kind of go hand in hand. Although the responses could differ a little bit. So maybe what is the purpose of the video, and then what do you want to communicate? What is the effect that we need this video to have
on the audience?
Again, though, I do think that is basically how do we define success reworded. Is
this one of those that you leave in the process so that you can hammer home the answer from number 3 across the board on 4 and 5?
What do you mean? So what do you want to communicate through this video?
Sometimes like when you ask a question, when you ask a question to somebody, you ask them a follow-up questions that are similar so that they can think through about what they just said. And then they can really figure out whether they meant it or they want to, the ideas start to come that.
I got you. Yeah, I got you. I mean, whenever I'm asking people questions, I'm not going to say I always. A lot of the times I ask the same question in different ways to see if
they're consistent with it.
If their answer ever changes. Yeah. And with that, I mean, we've already had some redundant questions in here, but I'm okay with there being some redundancy.
Making a note that 3, 4, and 5 are similar in nature, but can measure whether or how clear the client is on their vision. Right? I've worked with people who are clear on what they want to have done, and I've worked with people who change their mind.
Have no
and it's
clue.
It's like literally, it's not their fault. It's that they forget what they said, and that's as simple as it is. Sometimes they just forget what they said. I've worked with people who are like, I never said that. When did we agree on that? And you're like,
I've had that happen so many times. So I just wish I could have like a recording camera on my face at all times with a microphone.
With a microphone, just to see.
Yeah, it's got to have a
microphone. See your reactions to it. It's
not even to see my reactions, just so anytime someone comes back and they're like, we never agreed on that, I could just be like, actually we did, or you did.
Yeah. Tell us who. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm not telling you who. Oh man, that would put me in some trouble.
At work or in your personal life?
No, pretty much just at work.
Right.
I don't think I've run into that honestly that much in my personal life.
When Michaela listens to this, then it's over for you.
If she listens to it,
that's true.
We'll see. She doesn't watch my YouTube videos. Well, she used to, but like 2 minutes of it.
Really?
And they're like an hour long. So
oh God.
Whatever. It's all good.
Yeah, but she lets you do things like this, so that's cool.
Yeah,
I've thought about that. Like, I don't know. I mean, not about. I haven't thought about you two. I'm thinking of some past relationships I've been in.
What if she would let you record a podcast or do something else? What are you talking about?
Just, there has to be some sort of element where they're adding to the inspiration of the work. Like if they're just like oblivious to what I do, I don't think I'd be able to handle that. It would just be one of those things where I'm like, you know what I mean? Like imagine, like I write. Imagine, like I'm writing a story and she's like, well, why did you do that? What's the point of that? I don't see why can't they just say this? Yeah, I mean, like, if it's not like substance, if it's not, if they don't see like kind of like the intricacies of, the artistic side and understanding like different things like that. And it's just like, I don't understand. He likes her. She likes him. Why don't they just get together? Why does it take 300 pages for this to resolve? You're just like, what the hell's wrong with you?
Nah, Kayla's not bad. She pays attention to a lot of the work that I do, and every now and then I try and get her opinion on stuff to, see what she thinks, and also kind of get an exterior opinion on whatever I'm doing. So it works out pretty well.
I'm thinking of all the stories I can say now. Thanks. I've had some suggestions in the past about my.
Oh, some suggestions.
Yeah. But you know me.
That could be a whole.
It's terrible. It's terrible.
Series of podcasts on their own.
Terrible. It's not that terrible, but my responses to them have not been great. But anyways,
do you get offended when someone
no, I don't get
something that may or may not have a.
No, I don't get offended over that. I just pick it apart. I just pick it apart verbally. I just pick it apart. I just literally pick apart their entire way of thinking. I'm just like,
But why? Explain to me logically why that opinion makes sense.
Pretty much. That's what I do.
Yeah, I do that a lot.
Sometimes not like, could be a little nicer.
It's very difficult to ask that question and to try and get someone to think differently without sounding condescending. It's very difficult.
I feel like
they can't take it.
I feel like you have a hard time with that a lot.
Just with some people I've dealt with in work.
No, for me it's I don't mind. How about this? And I've given this advice, and I've had to learn this advice. You have to value only so many people's opinions of your work, man. I mean, dude, if you're good at something and you're good at something, half the time, like you're asking somebody just for kind of affirmation on what you already know. So it's kind of like you can, like, I'll give a few people a look at something I'm working on, but if I give it to somebody, if I give it to Joe Blow looks at it and he's like, look, I'll be honest with you, I'm not a big fan of the pacing of this story. First of all, that sentence is never going to come out of Joe Blow's mouth. Secondly, I don't really care. I mean, Joe could tell me this story sucks, man. It's super
it's
boring.
The worst thing he's ever read.
I have a joke like that. I do like some filtering on taste, like TV taste, depending on what somebody likes. Mm-hmm. If somebody right off the bat tells me that they don't like Mad Men, like if somebody straight up tells me like, I just can't watch Mad Men, it's so slow, boring. Off the bat, right off the cuff, I'm like, I'm done. It's not that I don't like them as a person. It's like, I'm not going to trust your opinion of my story.
Well, yeah.
If you don't like, Mad Men is a bit of an extreme case of the social filtering. If you don't, like Breaking Bad, if you don't like Breaking Bad, we may not be able to be friends. Like straight up, like if you
don't think I look like Aaron Paul, I'm sorry. We can't go on.
Yeah. That's the third social filtering. If you don't think that I'm Bradley Cooper's doppelganger, We can't be. No, just kidding.
No, so am I. Although I have gotten that quite a lot.
Bradley Cooper?
No, Aaron Paul.
I was gonna say Eminem, but
Eminem. I've never gotten Eminem.
Kidding, bro. I'm just kidding. You look nothing like Eminem. All right, so
I didn't think so.
All right, moving on.
All right, that was a good tangent. Oh wait, there was something I wanted to say that you were talking about valuing people's opinions. I feel like there's really only two types of people's opinions. I guess that's worded correctly. That you should really value. So I mean, if it's a close friend that knows you very well.
Yeah.
You almost choked over there, huh?
Yeah.
If it's someone who knows you very well, I mean, they could be a good barometer to bounce ideas off of, because it is just an external view. The other one that I would say is, I would honestly, whenever I'm working, I don't really care about anyone's opinion, like unless it's someone who's paying me or somebody I'm working with. But aside from that, the only person I would value their opinion is somebody else that I admire. So if I like your work and I want to show you something, then I'll value what you say.
Yeah.
But if I don't even like your work, like, I'm not going to value what you say.
Hey, look, as Lil Wayne says, this is my motto.
I don't even know what you're going to say.
As Lil Wayne says, only God can judge me. No, I'm just kidding. For all those who heard that and didn't know that was a lighter, I should have just left it at that.
Yeah, Mario's just lighting up a blunt right now. No, you're not. I'm just kidding.
That's getting cut from the podcast. If I just said, Lil Wayne once said, I don't know if that caught up on the mic, but that would be funny.
It would be funny.
All right, moving on here. Number 6.
Alrighty then.
This video
All
to
right,
entertain, to educate. Okay, how about this now? Let's move on because I can't think of anything else. But what is the scope? What is the production scope of the video?
How can we simplify that question? Not for us, but for the client.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying it like that.
I was gonna say,
I'm not reading this off of paper when I go in there.
Well, I know you're not gonna read it off of paper.
Like,
I would just rather get it out of the way now.
Hey, John, next question is, what is
the production scope?
What is this word? No. What is the scope of the project? That's not a question they need to answer. That's a question I need to figure out. That's not a question they need to know. If they tell me they want to do 3 locations, I already know. There's 3 locations now. The scope of this project just got hella big. If we got to do 3 locations, like it's just that's more of an internal question that you need to answer. So this is not only client question. This is, I need to answer this because this in part will determine the budget that I need to plan for. But for Zach, I'll put internal question in case he gets confused with the client.
He's such a douche.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think this whole document.
I'll be damn honest with you. Half the time as I'm writing this and reading this, I'm like figuring out what the actual thing is. I didn't know that was an internal question until I read it again. But it really is. That's what it would be an internal. It's usually an internal question.
I would think about this whole document as a list of as a process, as well as a list of things that we need to know. Not necessarily that we need to ask, but things we need to know. Do you agree with that?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. I see you cheesing over there. All right. So what is the production scope of the video? We need to know that.
Go for some cheese.
I mean, I would.
Go ahead.
You could go for some cheese.
Yeah, bro, always.
I had some cheese on an egg today.
That sounds unappetizing the way you just said it.
No, it was breakfast for dinner. I had some cheese on an egg with grits and some bacon. It's a fire dinner.
That is a country ass dinner right there.
It is, but it is extremely good.
All right.
Okay, so I mean, I think at this point, we know we're gonna kind of have a whole spider web of things around question number one, the what and who is it for. I think we might want to just understand what type of video it is. I mean, we need to know some things that are going to help us plan this out. You know, first of all, is it, do we need to write I mean, I feel like most of the time we're going to need to write a script or something. I'm going to be honest with
you. I'm going to have to put 6 as just a massive question because you can answer pretty much every question with 6. What is the production scope of this video? From there, you can figure out everything you need.
Exactly. So, I mean, like, is it an animated video? Are we going to need like cinematographers? Are we going to need a drone pilot, which, I mean, would be pretty awesome. I mean, those are just some basics.
I'm just typing some stuff up here.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm re-asking after that, what type of video? So how much? Yeah. In my head, it makes sense up there. I swear, Doc. How much needs to be captured? That is not the first question, but it is one of the questions that's happening all at once. I see. Like, is this document going to be dummy proof? Or like, let's not do the dummy proof document. What type of video tells me
right now
how much I need to capture? If it's a completely animated video, if it's
think about it
endless,
this way,
bro. That's the problem with
if you're coming out of the conversation and you don't know the answer to what type of video this is, you haven't asked enough questions. No, so let's just take it with that approach for now. That's not true.
Sometimes you leave a meeting and you asked all the right questions. The person just doesn't know what they want.
No, I didn't say you didn't ask the right questions.
You're right.
You just haven't asked enough. I mean, but I'm not talking about if you have to cut a meeting shorter, if you've got to have like a second meeting to finish it. But the idea here is understanding what type of video it is. That's all I'm getting at.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Okay.
So after production scope, what is it?
Yeah. Do you want to continue on video production or do you want to jump to something else? Because if we continue on video production, I think we're just really going to keep going down different paths. Score, script, voiceover, drone, how much of a crew? So these are the questions that make up what type of video it is, or no, what the production of the scope is.
Yeah, I put what type of video, script,
locations, equipment,
voiceover,
needed.
Drone, how big of a crew, music, locations, equipment needed, languages.
That's a good one. We've had some multilingual projects.
Closed captioning. How many videos? We put that under A.
Yeah, quantity.
Actors. Animation needed. Graphics needed. Stock footage.
I mean, if you really wanted to put more on the list, you could do sound engineering. I mean, that could cover things like Foley.
Sound needs. Type of video. How many videos? Oh God, what is the tone of the video? Because if it needs to be something dark, you got to do something. What is S?
Video or videos.
Mm-hmm.
Just to simplify.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Total budget cost with safety. with safety budget. But I don't mean safety as in your personal well-being. I mean safety as in, oh crap,
making sure
we need a zoom lens for this camera,
or a camera breaks and you gotta rent.
My DP wants a on-camera monitor. It's gonna cost me $150 for 3 days.
That reminds me. Some clients actually want to have their work or whatever we do filmed on specific equipment. So I mean that could be another thing, like equipment requirements. Do you want us to shoot on a Red Epic weapon?
Hold on. Well, look, that's a question of also what your practices are. Nowadays, I mean, I deliver everything in 4K at this point. I haven't had a client yet come to me and be like, we needed an 8K. But I'm sure there's clients out there.
No, but there's clients that will want something filmed on a Red.
Really? Specifically, they'll say that. I haven't run into it.
I've seen it.
Have you experienced it?
Totally serious. Yes. Ooh. I've experienced it with
like what type of person? What was the thing?
It wasn't a corporate gig. It was more of a creative video. I mean,
did the guy pay?
Sure, like a kind of like. Did he pay? I didn't shoot it. No.
Did he get it done?
Yeah.
Is this a Star Wars thing?
No, it's not the Star Wars thing. Why do you always bring out the Star Wars thing?
Because I would have laughed. I would have laughed so hard into this mic if they wanted a red for that thing.
No, it was not the Star Wars thing.
I bet I have not had somebody come up to me and say, hey, we want this on a red. Most clients I get don't know what the heck a red is. I mean...
No, most don't.
And for those who are listening to this and have no idea what a red is, it is a very top-tier, expensive dog leash.
Dog leash.
No, it's a camera.
Yeah.
Lost it.
You know, one thing I would want to shoot on, aside from a red, I'd want to shoot on an Arri Alexa one day. That would be nice.
Arri Alexa?
Yeah. It's also another very expensive camera.
Total budget, cost with safety budget.
Do we want to like put the steps of the process of
budgeting?
Writing the script, budgeting, planning, scheduling, same thing as planning.
Production schedule.
Yeah. Let's just make that one big item.
Put that down.
Production and budget schedule or planning. Do that.
It's two.
I'll do that.
Separate. Create production schedule. Create total budget.
Well, that's more of that's not a question. That's a do it kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. You're right. The exclamation point.
Yeah. That's not an exclamation point.
I know. I took off the exclamation point. It was a little bit too aggressive.
Okay, fine.
I tend to keep things on separate letters just because it makes me feel like I did more. And you really did. I mean, you're really shortchanging yourself if you put that on the same sentence. It's a hell of a process doing that.
Well, and it makes it way harder to read.
Yeah.
For those who can't see, where on a document, it's a nested list.
Mm.
So we're up to. We just finished S.
What letter is that in the alphabet? I'm just kidding. Don't answer that.
It's something after 5. I have no idea. I'm not counting that. All right. Do we need to go into any detail with the production scheduling, or is that something that we'll just deal with at the time? I don't even know if we need to go into detail about it here. It's not really
it's one of those things where you need to know how many days and nights necessary. How many?
Yeah, but we kind of cover that.
How many people? Who's necessary? When and where? That kind of thing. What are you about to type here? Oh yeah, editors. Yeah, you gotta edit. You gotta send the footage out every night, if possible. On a good, unless your editor set up a really shoddy cloud system that uploads 4K footage at 1 megabyte per 30 seconds.
Hey, it works beautifully locally. Okay. I was not expecting that crazy bandwidth issue.
So,
although I did have somebody reach out to me. Well, I mean, by now it's been quite a few months, but about building a custom NAS with, interchangeable hardware, which I might actually do because it's not that expensive and it would be much faster. The biggest issue is just going to be the local
hold on.
bandwidth
you're
here.
Doing it for them as a job, or you're doing it for yourself?
No. For myself, but it's actually a network admin. I think it was a network admin reached out to me on Twitter. And I don't know, we just got to talking and I was like, okay, well, cause I don't know. I think I made a video or said something about it on Twitter with the NAS, and he was like, hey, well, I mean, you could do this and it would, you could, make it much more scalable, very cost effective, and it would be much more performant. I was like, okay, well, what kind of hardware would you suggest? And he literally gave me like a whole build. So it's in my Twitter messages. I might do it at some point.
You know, we're nerds when it's like, we were talking and one thing led to another and he showed me his NAS.
If anyone that's not a nerd hears that out of context, I'm going to be in some trouble.
Things started getting really serious, and one day things went to a place I wasn't expecting. She showed me her NAS, and I wasn't thinking about ever doing that for myself, but once I saw it, I thought it was a really good solution. And
oh man, you're killing me, man. I can't even think about what else to write on this page. Whew,
I got you with the big NAS. All right. Yeah.
Editors, cinematographers, color grading, audio, mixing engineer. Shoot, I mean, animator, composer.
Lately, if it's a passion project or anything that I can get somebody on, somebody just dedicated to taking behind the scene photos.
I was going to write that down too.
Lately, just because it's twofold. It's like, you get some dope photos, you get to actually document the process of what you're doing. Nice.
Yeah, and then you can also kind of get an idea of someone's eye, at least. I wouldn't say their quality of work, because I mean,
I don't care.
Taking BTS photos isn't like necessarily like
straight up,
focusing on quality all the time, but you can get a good idea of what their eye is, like what they're looking for.
Well,
so it might be a good area to coach.
We're shooting
whoever's taking.
We're shooting that. We're starting shooting on that short film. I told you about for Giano. We're doing a.
Oh yeah, is that this Saturday?
No. It's actually not Saturday at all. We're shooting it on Tuesday night.
This Tuesday.
Tuesday night. Yeah. You don't have to be there.
Okay. I won't actually.
I'm gonna get you the footage.
Well, I'll tell you why.
I'll get you the footage the next day. But
no, it's not. Don't even rush it to me that fast.
Okay, fine.
I'll tell you why.
All right. Give me a second.
Go.
I want to get somebody on there who just shoots different photos behind the scenes. Like if I could get a film photographer back there, I would do it. Or somebody who does like just weird types of photography. I'm just into that crap lately. Like if it's behind the scenes, I want that looking grainy. I want it looking blurred.
Like it was shot on a 35 millimeter film camera.
Like a film camera that has water damage. I don't care. I just want something that has some style to it and has some real creative flair if it's behind the scenes.
Disposable Fuji camera.
Yeah.
Throwing it way back.
Right, so I can't. What were you gonna tell me?
Yeah, so I'm actually I have to fly to North Carolina tomorrow.
Work or pleasure?
Yeah, no, work. I gotta go up to. I gotta fly for business tomorrow. I'll be up in North Carolina, and I'm coming back Thursday night. So I'll be back Thursday around 10 o'clock if nothing gets delayed.
Sure.
Yeah, so I just found that out on Friday.
How do you feel?
I mean, I'm a little aggravated. Nah, I'm not even that angry. I do like going. I'm just disappointed. I would more say I'm disappointed as to the underlying reason.
You going solo?
No, I'm gonna end up meeting somebody there.
Hold on, but are you flying solo?
But I'm flying solo. But someone else is flying on a separate plane. Where?
What airline?
American Airlines.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Raleigh?
No, I'm actually flying into Charlotte. Yeah. So it's cool.
You gotta get some good food, man. Do you take advantage of these trips? That's like that's the thing I look forward to when I travel is food. Plan about how much I'm gonna eat.
I do my best, but sometimes it's just not an optimal situation. I mean, the last time I flew, I had to fly up to Michigan, which, I mean, it was kind of nice. It was an enjoyable trip, I think, overall. But I mean, it's like you're there, you're focused on work, you're busy for like 10 hours a day.
Depends who you're with, man. If I'm,
that too.
It all depends. Some people, bro, I mean, they don't care what they eat, man. They'll be like, hey, they will literally be in a place for the first time in their lives, and they'll be like, oh, I'm hungry. Let's go to Subway.
Or McDonald's. That's what happened.
Really? Oh,
in Michigan. Yeah, that was like the first place we landed. Yeah, that's what happened. We landed, went to the hotel to get the room, left like 10 minutes later to go to McDonald's, and then went to the client's
Call me
office.
bougie. I've gotten into fights on trips about the importance of choosing good places to eat.
You gotta eat healthy, man. You gotta eat good food. You can't just like fly to a new place and eat crap. You're gonna fly to a new place, eat at some sketchy restaurant, get food poisoning, and then you're screwed the whole time you're there. And then you got to work through it all because you can't leave and come back.
I was on a trip, and I'm sure maybe this person will listen to this, but they got mad at me because I didn't want to stop at a place that had like we were literally driving in the middle of nowhere, and it had like 3 reviews and like 1.5 stars. And I'm thinking to myself, I got like 4 more days here I got to work, and if I eat in this place and I get like tremendous food poisoning, diarrhea up the yin yang, like that's wrecked for me. And also, when you're in a place that's known for good food, go to some hole in the wall place. Go to a mom and pop that you can find that's just like the local town's glory. Like just literally go find that place, even if it takes you 45 minutes to get there. That's my philosophy on life. Yeah. But
I want to enjoy it, man. If I'm somewhere, I want to enjoy being.
I mean, I'm not eating. Also, like for people who diet, it's fine. I've done it. I eat clean pretty much all the time. I eat clean if I can help it, but I'm not crazy. So if I'm out of town and I don't want to diet and I've been eating clean and I come by a place that sells biscuits and gravy, bro.
You already know.
I don't even need to finish the sentence. Like it's a
biscuits
plate,
and gravy are fire.
It's a plate of biscuits and gravy over eggs, man. Like what the heck?
Oh man, dude! As a kid, there used to be a cafe around here. I do that all the time.
It just is
all the time.
What it is. Go work out harder the next day. Go to a place. There's a milkshake. Oh, I don't really have dairy. Sorry, give me the cookies and cream milkshake. It is what it is.
Was that your New York trip?
Oh my God, I ate so much in New York. I ate so much. The first trip I got really wined and dined and spoiled on the first trip. Second trip, I was off to fend for myself. The wilderness. I mean, we still ate good. I ate real damn good. I had and we were filming in Connecticut and a university up there. And on the way back, we stopped by this famous pizza place I think it's called Frank Pepe's. I think it's called. They call it Pepe's. Like how the New Yorkers, Connecticut people say, instead of Pepe, they say Pepe's. Frank Pepe's. And man, me and Rico had shared a pizza up there that was just ridiculous. And to let the audience in on the inside, Rico is a very good friend of mine and very good cinematographer. Anyways,
Yes.
So we had Frank Pepe's, and then I went and met up with a friend of mine, and me and her went out to this place called Momofuku. And if you don't know about that place, yo, it's good. And then we went to Milk Bar, which is just ridiculous. So Momofuku is Dave Chang's restaurant. If you don't know who Dave Chang is, look up the show Ugly Delicious on Netflix. You'll like it, I think, maybe. I love it. And it's just incredible. I had some ramen there with a pork banh mi. I don't know what it was, a pork bun. Oh my God, so good.
Probably.
So good. And then Christina Tassi, who created Milk Bar, used to work at Momofuku, and she made dessert one day for family dinner, because chefs do this thing where before the shift starts, they have family dinner together. And so the chefs cook, and then she just make these bomb desserts that she used to learn how to make with her mom and her grandma and her aunt. And so she made something called crack pie, I think. And you can assume why it's called crack pie, because it literally will make you want it like a crackhead wants crack. It's literally just, it's delicious. It's like this gooey pastry type. Oh my God. Flaky.
And all that's in New York, right?
That started in New York. It feels like the best things always start in New York and then they go everywhere else. But anyways, Dave Chang, as a good leader, saw her and she was killing it with the desserts. They started selling it in the restaurant. It was selling out. And I might be exaggerating the story, but I don't think I am. And he said pretty much to her one day, you need to leave. You need to go do your own thing, and you need to grow and do your own thing. Be who you are meant to be. And so he supported her on that. That's what a good leader does. Straight up. Sees talent on their team, and when they recognize it, they do everything in their power to help that person be the best person and to maximize that their talents are. A bad leader is somebody who tries to hoard talents of their team. If somebody's working on your team under you and you're their boss and you just see this remarkable talent, you do everything possible to maximize that talent for them and to help them see it in themselves, and then to encourage them if their calling is to go elsewhere, start something. Done preaching.
That was a good point, though. Good rant. Good rant.
Stop at every good food place you can.
I'm gonna have to look up some of those places next time I'm in New York.
And then get the bread pudding from Magnolia, or banana pudding. I don't know what it was. God, man. I got the full back end tour of NBC 30 Rock. I saw Questlove rehearsing for the Fallon, the Tonight Show, literally backstage. I was like, and what's his face? Ariana Grande's ex-boyfriend, Pete Davidson. Yo.
Who?
At the SNL back hallways, reek of weed. Reek. And they say, my friend told me it's because of him. The man smokes like a... Anyways, all right.
I gotta get to New York again. I miss New York and DC. I love them.
Yeah, I always love going to New York. DC I haven't been to in years, but I've been to DC a lot, at least in comparison to other places. Anyways, so we're here and we're pretty much done with the video side here on this list. This is what I was talking about, that it gets into the variable questions. Like number 6 literally just exploded. And now it's everything here,
Number 6 has like 30 sub items already.
Yeah, it's crazy. But this is the process of just one thing. And this is what people tend to not notice, is the people who ask you, this is what goes through video professionals' minds for the most part. When you ask them to make you a video, people are asking us to make a video. And then you go and there's a disagreement on the numbers that it comes down to. Because all of this takes experience to realize what you need and what you don't need. And it comes through failure. Hopefully it doesn't come down to failure. It comes down to literally a project that you're like, oh, we could have done this. It just comes from instinct at a certain point of like what you need. And so that there is a value in that, and people need to pay for that.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the design story. You know the story of the guy who's like a famous designer? Yeah. Charges top dollar for his. I think it might be a she. I don't know. Anyways, he or she.
What's the story?
Was in a meeting and they asked for a logo, and I don't know who drew the logo on a napkin and said, "This is your logo." Why that's it? Yeah. Like, we're paid this much for that? Like for you to do that, spend that little time. He's like, you don't understand is what you're paying for are the 30 years of toil and hard work that it took for me to be able to do what I just did on that piece of paper.
You know, I actually did hear that story once before. I love the story.
Chris Doe told that story once.
Yeah, that sounds like someone I would have heard it from.
Shout out to Chris Doe.
Not face to face or anything, but he's pretty awesome.
Chris Doe?
Yeah. I love his content. Very, very good content.
If you want good creative production design content, the best. Honestly, the best on the internet right now. It's probably the future, and it's led by that guy named Chris Doe and a couple others, but he's the best out of all of them. Chris Doe. I mean, Ben Burns is good too. I like Ben Burns, but Chris Doe is a better teacher. He knows how to communicate his ideas better. I love you, Ben. I bought you a little how to close or something or other, but Chris is he's the Exordia when it comes to teaching. Yu-Gi-Oh reference.
I'm out on that one. I never got into Yu-Gi-Oh or.
It's all personally my opinion, by the way. You might like Ben Burns more than Chris Doe, but the way Chris Doe resonates, the way Chris Doe does, what he does,
what Chris Doe does,
really resonates with me.
All right, man. Let's
wind this down.
I feel like right now we've got a good spot to jump onto something else.
I saw it.
You want to jump on
to another task?
Photography.
I don't want to do anything else in this document.
You giving up already?
I'm done. I mean, look, I'm good to end up on video production, and we pick up on something else another day.
Okay, that's fine. I think we can start on photography next time. It's neighboring.
Yeah, because we've already been breaking our rules and recording this whenever we please. So this document is not subject to the normal rules of this podcast. In fact, I didn't even know that we would be releasing this document.
Yeah, neither did I until we sat down today and we were like, hey, let's record the next session. Oh, shoot, this was the scheduled one. Now we have to release them both.
Yeah. Giving away all of our secrets.
Hey, I mean, if someone's that passionate to listen to this,
they deserve it.
Power to them, man. I mean, yeah, I mean, you should deserve, you deserve to take away some information from this.
You give false. I'm just kidding. Oh man, I'm good to end up here, and we can chat about other things for a bit. Turning off the work helmet. I'm gonna have to start up tomorrow.
Right, I'm good to shut this off for now.
I saw Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood this week.
What about in Hollywood?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Tarantino's.
Oh, you saw how was the movie? Don't give me any spoilers, but how was the movie?
It was good. I'm not just saying it because Tarantino directed it, but it was good. I'd put it up there. My favorite film he's ever done is Inglorious Bastards.
I almost watched that tonight, actually. It's on Netflix, I think, apparently. Now. What you looking at me for?
You haven't watched Inglorious Bastards. Remember what I said?
No. I have seen it before. I almost watched it again tonight. Again. Yeah, I ended up watching most of Monty Python and the Holy Grail. It's just amazing. All right, back to the movie.
Tell me. Watch it. I was hanging out with someone today, and they were going through the Netflix thing, and I saw it again, and I was like, "Oh, I should rewatch Monty Python."
Dude, it's hilarious.
I saw it once and I did laugh, but I want to rewatch it just to like really appreciate it. Low key, great, funny movie if you appreciate that type of humor. Airplane. Have you seen Airplane?
I don't know.
Airplane. I find Airplane funnier than Monty Python.
Okay.
Like in the sense of like oh man, that movie is so quick. Everything that happens is just so quick. It's ridiculous.
All right, I'll have to put that on my list. That's the next one.
Oh yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was great, and it was really it's up there. Inglorious Bastards is probably one. I would put Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2, and then I'd put Django 3. I'm not big on his Reservoir Dogs might be 4. Pulp Fiction has all it has all of the clout. But Pulp Fiction is not one of my favorites. Jackie Brown is not one of my favorites of his. Kill Bill is up there. Kill Bill might be ahead of
Kill Bill was good.
Kill Bill might be ahead of Reservoir Dogs, but I do like Reservoir Dogs a lot. Every once in a while, I'll do that line. Have you seen Reservoir Dogs?
Have I seen it? Yeah, I have. It was a while ago though.
The guy's dying in the backseat, bloody as can be.
I don't remember too much of it.
Mr. Brown, what's his name? His name's like Mr. something. You're not gonna die. Say you're not gonna die. Say it. It's great. And then the ear getting cut off scene. That's a good scene. But anyways, yeah, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was great. Just watching Brad Pitt and Leonardo DiCaprio, the camaraderie together, dude. I can watch that all day. They're so good at what they do, and the characters complement each other so well. And they've never been in a film together. Low key, like my two favorite. I mean, they're up there in the list of actors that it doesn't matter what they're in. Leo more so than Brad. You just go, if he's in it, you just go watch it. No questions asked. You just get to the theater and you watch it. Brad Pitt's done a couple of the last few years that I've missed out on. Like I haven't seen Allied, but usually I apply that rule to Brad Pitt as well. Anyways, the movie's good. It's a timepiece love story to LA. It's just great. And then if you know Tarantino, you know he has this propensity to create history in his own imagination. So that's always great too, especially when it relates to this film. So but yeah, I enjoyed it.
Now, is this one I need to go see in?
Yes, you have to watch this in theaters.
Okay. No, I literally just looked up Quentin Tarantino on IMDb just to see if there's anything else he's working on. Apparently,
one more film.
He announced that he's working on Kill Bill Volume 3.
I thought there was already 3 Kill Bills.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's got your girl Zendaya in it.
No, fam. Oh, there is no Kill Bill 3. Why did I think there's a Kill?
Yeah.
Zendaya's in it?
I don't know. You know, I kind of thought it was too. It was too, but
are you sure about that?
That's why I had to click on it. But your girl Zendaya's in it, Nikki Bell.
Where did you see this?
Just look it on IMDb.
I love her.
Literally go on IMDb, type in Quentin Tarantino. It's like the second thing for writer. It says characters. I don't know. But I mean, it's announced.
I don't know if you say
so
Zendaya
I'm assuming.
Zendaya. I say Zendaya, bro. Zendaya?
I said Zendaya.
Real question. Anyways, Zendaya, whatever you want to call her. Beautiful. And talented. Jesus. Man, triple threat. She throws a triple threat.
Oh, man. Any other interesting events this week?
I've been on a movie binge lately. I've seen a ton of movies in the last 2 weeks.
What you been watching?
Oh, Lawrence of Arabia, finally. It's an epic. I don't even know how to say where I feel about it, but it's great and it's weird. It's weird good. It's weirdly good acting. God, Peter O'Toole. He does something for that time, like the kind of things he was trying to do with the character he was playing, it was kind of disturbing in a lot of ways. Like they went into some stuff in that movie that I wasn't expecting for them to go. You know, Lawrence of Arabia was the movie that made Steven Spielberg fall in love with film. I think he watched it like 8 times while it was in theaters when it came out, but he's old enough that he saw it when it was in theaters. And one day some kid's gonna say that about me, but not that I'm putting myself in, whatever. I don't need to explain. Anyways,
it's okay. You're not really dating.
But one day somebody will be like,
"Damn, he's old."
I saw Inglorious Bastards in theaters. Anyways, saw it like 8 times in theaters. Peter O'Toole plays that role like to a T. It's just ridiculous. And he's the one who plays Lawrence of Arabia. So there's just this odd element of pretty much the theme of Lawrence of Arabia is, who are you? It's kind of like, who is this guy? And there's a couple of times where, specifically one time they just say, who are you? And it just has this shot on his face that's phenomenal. So good. So character driven, and he's interesting, and he's just an anti-hero type of, starts as the hero and then, sees himself turn into a different person that he didn't think he was. Anyways, good film. I saw the greatest.
Not to cut you off or anything, but I just gotta say, I was looking at this and I've got to jump in. We're not crazy. There has been Kill Bill Volume 1, Kill Bill Volume 2, but then the third Kill Bill movie was Kill Bill: The Whole Bloody Affair. Now there's going to be a Volume 3. So there was a third movie, it just wasn't Volume 3.
Did Tarantino
That's why we're so confused. So we're not crazy here.
So did Tarantino actually do that though? Yes, he did.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, he did. It's on his list.
See, that's weird. Weird.
It's very weird. I was thrown when I read that. I'm like, wait, it's already out like a while ago. No, but it's not.
Personally, I don't think he should do another Kill Bill as his next movie, but maybe he is. Oh, crap! It's because
what?
Kill Bill 3 is gonna be the little girl.
Oh, I forgot about that. So that's gonna be Zendaya then, right?
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think his next film needs to have Travolta. Travolta needs to be.
I don't like that guy.
Don't hate on the Travolta.
I'm not hating on him.
Look, man, Travolta's great. He needs to have Samuel L. He needs Travolta. He needs if this is truly his last film, he needs all of his main people. He needs some of his Reservoir Dogs cast, the originals. He needs Samuel. He needs John. He needs his main characters. He needs Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's already been like in 2 or 3 of his films. I have to argue DiCaprio's got to be in there. He's been in 2 films already. You got to bring in what's his face, Christoph Waltz. Got to bring him in. You got to bring in Uma Thurman. Got to bring Uma Thurman in.
Absolutely.
I mean, if Uma Thurman's not in, you got to rage. Everybody, look, if it's his actual last film, everybody and their mother as an actor will be begging to be in the film. They'll do it for free. They'll do it for pennies. It's like Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill did for Wolf of Wall Street. He got paid like a pittance compared to what he could have been paid. There was no budget for him, so he's like, "I'll do it just to work with Scorsese," and it goes to that philosophy. Some people have enough promise that you got to eat dirt and take the opportunity sometimes.
Yeah. Good business advice too sometimes. Yes. Yeah. Apparently he's making another Django movie, Django Zorro.
No.
Yeah.
Where was Zorro?
I'm pretty sure he's the one working on that.
Jared.
Or did I just find that from? No, wait, no, that's not him, is it?
No, he's working with.
No, it is. It's literally the first thing.
Working with somebody that's going to create that.
Yeah. I can't tell if is it just a comic or is it like that's got to be a comic. Yeah, it's a comic. That would have been a weird movie, man.
I don't want him to make his last film. I want him to just make films until he dies, pretty much. Someone like him.
He probably will.
Someone like him cannot stop creating. It is what it is. So
this is passion, man. I mean, when I retire and I'm old, I'm still gonna be working, man. Not because I have to. At least I hope not because I have to, but because I love it.
Likewise, the goal really to do something that you love so much that you never have to retire from it.
Yeah.
All right. So other movies I saw the movie Tolkien about the author of Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
I saw The Great Escape with Steve McQueen. Very joyful movie until the end. What else I saw? I saw Venom. That was a background movie. I was just doing a bunch of other stuff while watching Venom. Crappy, but Tom Hardy's good.
Okay.
I feel like Tom Hardy has a real hard time with choosing what accent he wants when he acts. But nonetheless, I'm still a big Tom Hardy fan. Well, I got into the show The Boys on Amazon. It's the dark tale. It's the dark telling of a world with superheroes that are just all the worst types of people you could imagine.
You serious?
They're terrible. But then you have this group called The Boys that are just trying to kill all of them. Which is pretty great.
You just need Amazon Prime for that,
yeah.
right? Oh, okay, then I'll have to watch that.
What else did I watch this week? In the last couple of weeks, I saw Chaplin with Robert Downey.
Okay.
I'm missing several other films.
You've got me beat already. I think this week I've watched half of Monty Python.
I don't know. I've gotten into. I'll tell you right now everything I've watched.
You're just gonna pull up your history.
Yeah. I saw the Avengers. Remember, I went on that Robert Downey thing.
Yeah, I remember you talking about that.
Iron Man 3. I saw Jackie Brown of Tarantino. I saw The Wedding Guest with Dev Patel. Good movie. I saw the first Iron Man. This is not all this week, by the way. I've seen this over a couple weeks. I saw Before Sunrise. A little bit less than I thought I watched. And then Magnolia. Did I watch Magnolia? I did watch Magnolia. That movie's crazy. Anyways. Yeah, the ending of that movie is just absurd. You need to watch Magnolia and tell me what you think.
Okay. Let me put that on my notes.
Yeah, watch Magnolia. Good luck. But that's it, man.
All right.
My cap. We can end the podcast here. I did a bunch of other things this week, but plan out content for next week's podcast and talk about some more personal.
Yeah, I had one. I mean, most of my week was packed with work and listening to random podcasts and whatnot. But one other random thing that happened this week was I ended up doing video switching over at a Coastal this week.
Oh yeah, how was that, man?
Yeah, I mean it wasn't bad. It was just, I don't know. I wasn't really planning to do anything, but it kind of got sucked into it somehow. It wasn't bad. I mean, there's still definitely room for improvement over there.
That's your new
but they're not blind.
That's your new church?
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where I was a long time. That's where I was. We talked about it, I think, in the first podcast a little bit. That's where I was before I had to quit because of the job that ended up being on Sundays instead of Thursdays.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so it was interesting, but I mean, it was fun. I enjoy working on live productions. I must say, I kind of miss that. I kind of miss the the little bit of adrenaline that comes with just
there is a bit of
knowing that there's a few hundred people or thousands of people watching, or maybe they're not knowingly watching, but basically watching everything you're doing.
I sometimes wonder if I'll ever do it again. I'll tell you this. If I could strictly focus on the video side of it, I would be cool with doing it, or even planning like the production itself. I like that too. I actually did video switching not this weekend but last weekend, just because I did it for so long, and I just stepped in on a Saturday service, and I was like, I'll take over for you, because
that's literally exactly what I did. I stepped in on this past well, technically tonight's Sunday night, so yesterday's night service.
I told my friend Jonathan, who used to be my associate there, who he used to be a volunteer before that, and I got him to take the job. I pretty much recruited him to work there, and I stepped in on a Saturday, and I was like, want me to do switcher? I'll do switcher. And you go to camera 2, so he went to the main camera, and it took me a minute to remember like the flow of things, but it came back pretty quick. But
it's like riding a bike, man. I feel like you and I have both done live production for so long. It's just like, I haven't touched a video switcher, man, in like I want to say like 2 or 3 years now. It's been a while, but like, you just look at it for like 10 seconds and it's like, oh, yep, okay, all right, I'm back.
It hasn't been that long for me. It's been a few months, February, but now Saturday. I also stepped in for
it's been a couple of years.
I stepped in for the play. So it's when you do those plays, man, that's when it gets like, that's where the adrenaline hits you, when you're in charge. It doesn't hit me as much. I just did camera operating. It's cake. Camera operating is just easy breezy compared to when you're calling the shots on the switcher.
Oh yeah. The one thing that annoys me the most though is when you're calling and you're queuing someone up to be ready, and it's just like you still see the camera shaking. And you're like, dude, I've got to cut to something.
Camera shaking, or how about if they're too slow to get to the shot?
Well, there's that. I would rather. I feel like I would rather it be.
No. Well, actually, no. The shake is always terrible. You need at least
the shake is the worst, man. I mean, because if you're just slow getting to a shot, I feel like a lot of people will mistake that for just like, oh, they're panning. It's like a camera movement. Like they won't really think about it. But if you're just like obviously shaking, it's just not good.
Man, since I had to work with volunteers, some of them are naturals and some of them are just, they never get it. It's just never like,
no.
You say pan left to right, they pan right to left.
Dude, that just happened to me. I'm like, pan from stage right to stage left, and he goes the opposite direction. I'm like, what are you doing?
A little bit more understandable. But when I say left to right, I'm talking about our perspective.
Well,
you cannot.
I know, but that's the problem, though. It's like, okay, well, did he mean stage right, or did he just mean our right,
or tilt? That's tilt up. Nothing, just nothing. They do nothing. Or how about that? You got all 3 cameras are all in a close up. They're like, all right, someone get me a Y. If you see a close up on screen, give me a medium. Do the O'Reilly.
I've always got to have a camera locked wide. I feel like you should always have. I mean, this is probably not like a one size fits all thing, but I feel like it's a very good idea to have one camera locked wide at all times. That way, you always have a safety.
Sometimes it depends. If you have 3 skilled camera ops and they can all like beautifully dance amongst each other, but if not, then your center camera has to be your consistent camera.
Yeah,
and left and right gotta be close in, close out, whatever.
Yeah. All right. Well, I gotta finish. Well, start packing for flying out tomorrow. I'm flying out at like 2:00, so I gotta leave at noon. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. But any last words?
Well, hopefully not my last words, but it's a good podcast. More business related. We'll actually plan some content for next week. We'll actually do some planning and talk about some specific things not related to business.
Yeah, let's switch it up. I'm going to be stuck in a hotel room, so let's.
You'll be there all week.
Me? I'm going to be there. Well, I'll be there Monday night, and then I'll be busy Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but I'm flying out Thursday night, so I'll be cooped up tomorrow night, Tuesday night, and Wednesday night.
Okay, so you have time to plan, is what you're saying. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I have time to plan, but you're shooting Tuesday.
I'm gonna have a busy week. This is gonna be a very busy week for me.
This is gonna be a funky week, man. We're gonna have to grind for that plan for the next podcast. But all right,
we'll just talk about some events that happen. We'll talk about some movies. We'll talk about some TV shows. We'll talk some random stuff. Talk politics. We'll talk everything.
You know, if you do end up shooting Tuesday, I think it would be very interesting to hear a fresh experience of the shoot that you're going to be doing.
We'll do
like a retrospective.
Cool. I shall.
That might be a good idea.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Okay, so potential spoiler right there.
There we go. That's one thing we're going to talk about, and then I'll give you my movie reviews also. I'm sure I'll watch like 3 or more movies this week.
I'll try and watch like an episode of a TV show or something, so I can say I watched something.
I'm probably going to watch something right now. So. But
all right, man.
All right.
Well, thank you all for listening. This has been the Midnight Exchange. Go ahead and if you want to go to our website, it's themidnightexchange.com. If you want to find us on social media, you can find us on Twitter at THEME Podcast. So that's Theme Podcast. It stands for the Midnight Exchange. You can find us on Instagram and Facebook at the Midnight Exchange. And then if you want to send us an email, you can send us an email at podcast@themidnightexchange.com. So
thanks for tuning in. Have a good week.
Thank you. Have a good one.